Welcome to the ET Stand Podcast, the Cronulla Sharks fans podcast. And joining me, we've got Chaps, Grant Chappel from Rabbitohs Podcast. Is that what you said? Rabbitohs Radio Podcast, Chaps?
Yeah, Rabbitohs Radio Podcast. Rolls off the tongue for some, but maybe not Sharks fans. But looking at your little right to left pass in that little intro there, mate, you might be a chance of taking Nico Hines' job, mate, the way he's travelling.
I'll turn it up. I'm not sure that my past is as good looking, nor am I as good looking as Nico Hines, but I'll certainly take the compliment. Chaps, is this the battle of everyone's second favourite team, the South Sydney Rabbitohs versus the Cronulla Sharks?
Yeah, I think it could be. I mean, I've never. How do you hate the Sharks? I mean, there's nothing to hate about them. I've always had a soft spot for the Sharkies, being a beach team, and I'm a bit of a beach bloke myself. Grew up at Maroubra, surfing with the great John Sutton, the 335th gamer. But I certainly don't have any hatred towards the mighty Cronulla Sharks, Mulder.
Well, that's fair enough. Well, I remember John Sutton scoring a try when we lost 10 matches in a row or something, and we were ahead by 2 points, and John Sutton scores right at the death to make it 11 losses in a row, something like over 10 years ago. It's quite a good fun time.
I was at that game, and I think that was we avoided the wooden spoon with that try, so it wasn't great for us. Yeah.
Now, I often go and look at other teams' players and our players and players that have crossed over. And typically you get a whole bunch of teams that have, there's been heaps of Roosters that have played for South. There actually haven't been that many Shark South players. I think for me, the most notable one's probably Les Davidson. When I say to you, Shark South players, who comes to mind, Chaps?
Well, Bundy, you wouldn't believe I've got a crane gang with him down the waterfront. I've been working with him for 15 years, Bundy. His boys were great Cronulla juniors too. Reese and Tracy. Reese was a star. I thought he was going to be the next ET coming out of Cronulla. But yeah, mate, Mark McGaw comes to mind. The big strapping centre, Mark McGaw. He actually broke his, I think he broke his tibia right in front of me. I heard the bone snap there at City Footy Stadium one day. That wasn't a great one. Nathan Merritt. People forget that he played for Cronulla. He came over. I think he broke the reserve grade point scoring record.
He did 5 tries in one match.
270 points he scored in reserve grade for the Sharkies. Luke Stewart, we used to call him the all-day Stewart. He was a north and south player. He just went all day. He was
so good for us, Luke Stewart. In the he came on in the semis for us, and I think it was 2002. He came on as a replacement player, and boy, he was good. And then I was such a bum when he left for the Rabbitohs. Other ones that come to mind is, look, David Peachey still breaks our heart, talking about the time that Peach had with you guys. And I think he really helped you guys turn the corner around that time when you were just coming back into the comp and brought something extra.
Look, he was older, but it was a big scalp for us. We were sort of getting a lot of ageing players, but I thought he put a lot of effort in there, Peach. We loved him. He's smooth as silk, David Peachey. Colin Best, mate. I was a big fan of Colin Best. He probably played his best football at Canberra and the Sharkies, but we got a bit out of Bestie, and also Paul Mellor, the prodigious talent, come out of Pagewood Catholic School over here, which is now known as Corpus Christi. Debuted as a 16-year-old, I think. Probably still
he was very young player.
Day.
He's very popular at Shark Park, Mellor, Chaps. He used to get a whole bunch of chants going, and there was a game where he tore up Wendell Saylor back in the late 90s. Which was very good. But look, that's enough of the SDU. Let's talk season form. 2 and blot, huh? The Rabbitohs sitting equal first on the table. Is that what you're expecting, the Wayne Bennett factor?
Yeah, I guess they play to the whistle. That final 10 minutes of the first half and the second half, it's where we've been let down the last couple of years, and I think that you can see that's a little bit different. They're playing right up to the bell goes in both halves, and I don't think we've won a game this year, to be honest. I think oppositions have lost games. The Dragons lost that game. We just hang around, and the opposition found a way to lose. The Dolphins were pretty similar. Probably we come in under strength. I think we had 10 players out of our top 30 unavailable for that first game. Getting a few back now, but look, they just keep turning up. They're playing for each other. They're playing for their coach. And you talk about the Wayne Bennett factor. Well, mate, I'll tell you what, it's a thing. He's undefeated in season 2025.
Well, you called that out, the Wayne Bennett factor. Well, I'm going to challenge you, Wayne Bennett. If you want to prove you're the greatest coach of all time, win a premiership with the team that's the hardest to win a premiership with, which I'm pretty sure is the Sharks, but maybe maybe Souths aren't so bad. All right, let's check. We've got the team list up here on the left of screen. Who's in form from the South Sydney Rabbitohs this season? Who's standing out and surprised you, chaps?
I think you got to look at a player like Lachlan Hubner, or Hubby. He's actually been suspended the last 2 weeks. He was a bit of a surprise packet. We sort of got the mail out of the Queensland Cup last year. We rang a few people that are in and around that competition, and they said he's the Cameron Murray of the Queensland Cup, and that form has reigned true. He won the jump at number 13 when Latrell and Cam Murray went down, mid-February. There was a bit of doom and gloom, but I think he's been good. We're going to really miss him this week, I've got to say. Look, some other informed players, how can you go past the Mighty Mouse, Jai Gray? 592 metres at the fullback position in the first couple of rounds. He's got the heart the size of Farl up there, Boulder.
Yeah, right. All right. What about this halfback, Jamie Humphries? Shark fans will be looking at his team list, not knowing much about him.
Well, you were saying Nico Hines is a good sort. Well, Jamie Humphries, he's a real head turner, mate. Don't worry about that.
Whoa. Nico Hines may not be the best halfback, but he's definitely the most handsome player in rugby league. Come on.
Well, they call him Rig-tastic down there, mate. He's cut out of granite, Jamie Humphries. So he's come in and didn't get a lot of him in pre-season. He was quite coming with a couple of little niggling injuries, but he's jumped in at the half-pack position. Our forward pack hasn't had a great go forward, so that's probably why he leads the NRL in kick metres. I think he kicked for 714 metres in the first week against the Dolphins. He's kicked us out of trouble. He's had that cool as you like field goal last week against the Dragons, your arch rivals. And yeah, mate, he's done everything he's been asked of so far.
Well, you mentioned the Rabbitohs halfback position. I was a big fan of Adam Reynolds, so I'll pause quickly and just ask you, how are you seeing Reynolds' form with the Broncos? And does it break your heart to see him playing for someone else? Or
of course it does. Yeah, we didn't have a halfback since probably Craig Coleman until he came along, and he never missed a beat from the day he walked in the joint. I would have loved to have seen the club keep him for as long as he wanted. 1 year deals or what. I think he nearly went to Cronulla Sharks. He was weighing up between the Sharks and Brisbane, so you guys probably missed out there. You seen him in round 1 against the Roosters. His kicking game was unbelievable. He hasn't lost anything between the years there. He's a pretty special player, Adam Reynolds.
That's true. All right, where does South Sydney score their tries against the Sharks, chaps? What's going to happen? How are you putting 50 on us? Where are the points coming from?
Yeah, I don't know about 50, mate. But look, I think if they can get a couple of those legs tackles where we get a quick play of the ball, Cody Walker looks like he's just starting to get his groove on. Again, had a disrupted pre-season, didn't train for 5 weeks leading into round 1. Had one training session played, so he's starting to find his form. Scored a crucial try last week against the Dragons. I think they do a couple of left shifts, and if you're going to do a anytime try score, I think Isaiah Tass on the left wing is someone I'd throw in your try scoring options. And look, the little hooker, Peter Mamazoulis, has been pretty crafty and scored a nice little try last week as well.
All right. Well, conversely, the Sharkies team, who scares you from this Sharkies team as we pull that up here on the left? They're a big team.
You can see me scratching my head. They're a huge team, and that's probably where you get the likes of Jai Gray, the little mighty mouse. He seems to trouble big sides, tall sides. He gets underneath them. He uses his foot speed to worry him. But on your side, I'm a big rap on Braden Trindle. I think he's got to be first receiver and command the football a lot more than Nico. I think Nico is a player that should be playing off the back of. He should be more of a support player.
Oh, Chaps, don't give us the broken record. Nico to 5'8" for a team.
I think, I think Braden Trindle's an untapped resource down there in the Shire. And Adam Fedor-Blake, the South Sydney junior, what a signing he will turn out to be. Outstanding. He can do just about everything in the front row position. I think he's a better player than Payne Haas, in my opinion. And another bloke I wish we never lost, another South junior, one of the great South juniors, Cam McGuinness. Obviously, he had a few players around him at the time, Isaac Luke and the like, so he had to move on. But, mate, if there's a more wholehearted player in the game, I haven't seen him yet. Cam McGuinness, he just gives you everything he's got every week.
Well, he always looks so beaten up and injured post-match. He's losing teeth and bleeding and all sorts of funny stuff, Cameron McInnes. The bench for the Sharks is 3 forwards, one interchange back. Tell us about the Rabbitohs bench and how it sizes up versus the very large Sharks bench.
Yeah, Jaden Sullivan, obviously Buddy Sullivan, prodigious talent from the Steelers organisation, won a comp in SG ball, hasn't really reached his peak, but the first 2 weeks, I thought he might have spelled Peter Mamazoulis at the hooker position, but I think Ty Munro got hurt. They brought him in and put him in the centres against the Dolphins. He did a job. Last week, Tallis Duncan and Jai Arrow were ruled out with 30 or 40 minutes to go, and he come in and did a job in the second row, so who knows where he plays this week, mate. He's just been one of those Mr. Fix-It guys at the moment. Saliva Havili, experienced guy, plays a little bit of middle, hasn't got a great lot of foot speed. Liam LeBlanc, for those who don't know him, just think about Trevor Gilmeister. This is the second coming of Trevor Gilmeister. Liam LeBlanc, nothing of him. He hits like a Mack truck. And Tavita Totola, again, only had 2 training sessions leading into round 1. He's going to be better for the run. He won our George Pickens medal only 2 seasons back. So, yeah, it's not a scary bench, but it's definitely a workman's bench.
It's certainly not the Sharks bench with Siosifa Talakai. He's got to be another one that you're a bit bummed that he was a Rooster, not Roosters. I wouldn't dare say that Roosters. God, that gets me into so much. He was a Rabbitohs player, wasn't he? What happened there?
Well, I think I can't remember which team we played in Perth, but he made his debut, and his first touch of the ball, he scored a try in extra time to win it, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but yeah, I think he just sort of probably wasn't as fit as what he is these days. Yeah, he's a real super sub, isn't he? And Braden Hamueli, and the big fella, number 17.
Tuku Hautapua. I'll say his name for you.
Tuku Hautapua. He is a monster. He'd be challenging. Is he one of the biggest players in the game, or what?
He's close to. He's not quite as tall as Tommy Hazelton, but he's pretty big. So the Sharks are missing Tommy Hazelton and Sione Katoa. So pretty close to being full strength. Whereas your poor Rabbitohs, geez, you're missing a lot of cattle.
Yeah, Ewan Aitken, that Hubner suspended, Alex Johnson, Chuck Mitchell, Ty Munro, Josh Schuster, just to name a few. There's a couple of others. That
Ewan Aitken's a good player.
Yeah, I don't think he's far away. He looks like he's maybe a week. I'd say maybe next week or the week after. So, yeah, he's going to add a little bit there. But anyway, we'll see. You can't think about who you don't have. You got to worry about who you do have on the field.
This is true. All right, mate, give us your tip. Tell us why the Rabbitohs upset the Sharkies and how and why.
Look, we've won 2 games this year by a combined total of 3 points. So I'm not expecting. Don't take the 13+ option, Boldo, if you get an opportunity for the Bunnies. I reckon it's going to be South Sydney Rabbitohs. Take them 1-6. I think they win by a blowout, 4 points this week.
A blowout by your standards. Well, maybe you should be jumping on the tie, chaps, if it's 2 points, 1.0. Maybe it's the tie after the...
It could be a golden point. Another Jamie Humphries field goal, nonchalant field goal.
Well, the Sharks fans were saying they were a little bit too cocky and confident for mine. I thought, your point on Wayne Bennett, coach team. In South Sydney, you've caused us a few upsets and a few fun matches. Do you have a favourite Sharks match memory that comes to mind when you think of playing the Sharkies?
Yeah, I reckon there's one in 2004 now. You got to remember, 2003, we only won 3 games. So 2004, we were starved for success, and we played on a Saturday night at SFS. I was out there. Greg Bird was only 19.
Was that the Shane Martini game?
And he's kneed Shane Martini in the head with about 15, 20 minutes to go. Sent from the field, got a 10-week suspension, and South came over the top and beat them 32 points to 12. That was we won in the grand final that week.
I was at that one too, actually. That hurt. Yeah. Greg Bird got us into it. And, of course, there was the famous Sharknado match between Sharks and Souths of 2015, which is still the lowest attended NRL match of all time. I think they said it was like 1,500, but I don't think it was even that, if I'm candid and fair. So, all right, chaps. Well, thanks for coming in for this opposition fan preview. For any South fans that are listening to this and haven't caught wind of Rabbitohs Radio Podcast, how do they listen to your podcast, mate?
Yeah, you can jump on YouTube, Rabbitohs Radio Podcast on YouTube. We're also on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. And also, if you want to jump on from social media links, we've got a Facebook private listeners group and also an Instagram page there. So give us a follow or a like or a share if you if you can. And I appreciate your time, Boldo. You're a good man, mate.
Oh, mate, glad to have you in. It's a terrific time talking to the opposition fans because those insights you just gave us about South then are just absolutely terrific. So thanks for coming along. We have a lot of fun with South fans in the ET stand. My mate Wazza always brings a couple, and they're always very well behaved and very respectful. I like that from opposition fans. So we look forward to letting a whole bunch of South fans into Shark Park. Hopefully they don't have the best day, but we'll see how that goes. All right. Well, thanks, chaps, for coming in. Do get onto the Rabbitohs Radio Podcast if you're a Souths fan, or even if you're a Sharks fan and you want to have a listen to some upcoming stuff for this week's match. We'll be live right after full time for the debrief on the ET Stand podcast. I'm pretty sure it's going to be me talking through hopefully what will be a 1 point Sharks win. I picked 8 point Shark win, chaps, so that's what I was thinking. So we'll see you guys next time on the ET Stand. Chaps, thanks for coming in.
No worries. Thank you very much, Boldo.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.